Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Pruitt. I'm the superintendent of Ankeny Community School District. Really glad that you chose to join us this evening. I have to say before I give my prepared statement is that this time of year, I'm going into my 25th year in education. There's just something about this time of school year for educators where there's the anticipation of meeting staff, whether you're a teacher or an administrator. There's an anticipation of meeting your returning students, new students, and parents to your school and district. And it's just really hard to describe that every year you get this overwhelming sense of excitement. I guess you're sometimes scared also with regards to what to expect, but I'm really happy that all of you chose to join us. We did have some parents to come to take advantage of the resource fair, but had to leave. Really welcome to our 2022 Back to School event. I'm looking forward to welcoming our returning and new students to the upcoming school year. Throughout the summer, the district and school teams have been planning to welcome both our teachers and students back to their respective schools. Last year, we started the process to reimagine how we might improve in serving our students. Parents, community members, students, and staff work together to improve how we provide quality educational experiences to our students. This work resulted in a plan built on 3 core pillars: prioritizing academic rigor and relevance, maintaining a system of talented people, and a commitment to providing supportive learning environments for all of our students. We also developed the district's first profile of a graduate, which I'm really proud of. The graduate profile will serve as our district's North Star, outlining characteristics we all collectively believe all of our students should have by the time that they graduate from our district. The diversity, equity, and inclusion framework describes the expected adult ways of work that support student growth and readiness to pursue academic and career pathways. I believe that effective instructional leadership, teaching practices, and district operations will continue to improve our students' access to high-quality learning in our district. And so I don't want that to go unnoticed or unheard, but I really believe that if we're going to make our district great, because I think that we have a really good district, that we have to continue to support our school leaders who are working with their teachers to support students. We also have to support our teachers who are our boots on the ground, who see our students are doing everything they can to support their students' learning on a daily basis. Our work continues. The district is actively engaged in implementing these plans, and you'll hear more from my colleagues on the work underway. I'd like to introduce my colleagues today, and if you will indulge me, please stand when I call your name. Before I call everyone on the stage, I want to acknowledge the central office staff. Here, and you're in the room, please stand. Thank you. And then the people that are leading our teachers and students in all of our schools, all of our principals in the district, please stand. After we finish with our brief comments from everyone on the stage, you'll have an opportunity to meet with the principal and learn more about them and their vision for our students at their respective schools. But for now, I'd like to introduce my team and Dr. Jen Lindeman. Chief Diversity Officer Kenneth Morris Jr. It threw me off because we usually call him Ken. They have Kenneth, Ken Morris Jr. Our Chief of Legal Affairs and Strategic Initiatives, Jessica Dirks. Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Darren Hawk. Safety and Security Manager, John Davis. And I'll bring up to the mic now Dr. Jen Lindeman to provide a brief overview of how our academic services team supports our students here in the district.
Hello, everyone. Before I start here, I just want to gather just a little informal data. If you would raise your hand if you care for a pre-K or K through 5 student in your home. I just want to get a sense. Ooh. How about middle school, 6th through 9th grade? I think we have some students maybe that fit that too. You can raise your hands as well. Okay, and how about high school, 10 through 12? Okay, a little bit. Elementary certainly taking the lead tonight. Well, I want to spend just a couple of minutes here sharing with you what you're going to see in the student experience in the year ahead that might be a little different than in past years. You heard Dr. Pruitt mention the importance of continuous improvement in our district, and that is certainly true. That is the core of the work we do every day in academic services, is really working to strengthen the student experience in all ways, shapes, and forms. So on screen, you are seeing just several different areas that we have worked over the course of the last year, and in a few cases longer than a year, to make some system-wide a few here. I won't go through every one, but certainly being able to provide English to speakers of other languages in all of our elementary buildings is an improvement in the year ahead that we're very excited about, being able to provide that service to every child in their home building. Also, in our K-5 program, we are implementing a new math curriculum and a new computer science curriculum through our digital learning teachers. If you didn't take a chance to stop out at our curriculum table before coming into the room, I would highly encourage you to swing by that on your way to the breakout sessions or even after the breakout sessions. We're really excited. We've had a team of teachers working on both of these areas over the course of the last 2 years, and they have put together some parent resources for you so you can engage with your child at home as well. And certainly we'll have them available at our website, and also your school buildings will be able to get you access to that as well. But an area that we are greatly looking forward to strengthening across our K-5 program. I would also highlight Leader in Me. Some of you may be familiar with Leader in Me. That framework is a framework we use currently in K through 9th grade. It's relatively new in our middle schools. It's a multi-year implementation process, and we've had a plan in place for probably 4 or 5 years to implement that in all of our buildings, and including our high schools here down the road. But Leader in Me really is based on the premise that every person has genius. Every student has genius and is a leader. And so fostering that in our schools and helping students see that and experience that and get to express that is part of the work we do there. So we're excited about that continuing to expand for our students. And then the last piece, I know you're going to hear more about this in just a minute. The implementation of MVP, Mentors in Violence Prevention, is a big area of growth for us in the year ahead for our high school programs. And again, I don't want to go too deep into that because you're going to hear that in just a minute. The second piece that I want to share with you is related to that continuous improvement process. So what you see on screen now are the areas that we are focused in on in the year ahead, and some of them even connect to work we've been engaging in this past year. You're going to see a number of curricular areas, again, where we're engaging in curriculum review, and for that, For us, that means looking at our student data trends over the course of the last several years, looking at research and best practice, doing inquiry and determining what is it that is currently missing or potentially a gap in our program, and how might we fill that gap? What do we need to do as adults, as professionals, to improve the way in which we engage students in that area so that ultimately our students get better outcomes for themselves? So you'll see a number of those there. I also want to highlight two key items here. One is we're engaging in a full-scale program review of our Gifted and Talented program. We have a new specialist on board with us who is just going to be kicking that process off with our Gifted and Talented team here this fall, and we'll spend the year engaging in that inquiry process. We'll be looking forward to sharing some outcomes from that here next year if you join us. And then also, if you've attended to our strategic planning process and had a chance to dig into some of the pillars, one area of focus for us is around post-secondary success for every single student. Our mission statement, our new mission statement, I don't have it completely memorized, but I know the last part is preparing students to flourish in and contribute to an ever-changing world. And so working with students around what does post-secondary success look like for them, and really doing that not just as a senior or a junior senior or a sophomore junior senior, but throughout their educational career, and building a curriculum that students engage in throughout their pre-K-12 experience that helps them see what's available to them, what might be in their future, and explore that, and as they get older, even experience that. So we're really excited about these areas that we'll be working on, again, as adults in the system in order to better support our kids. Thank you.
Good evening, family. Good evening. All right, okay. It's a small crowd, but I like the energy. As Dr. Pruitt mentioned, I'm Ken Morris Jr. If you want to use the full government, I suppose, that's okay, but I prefer Ken. Welcome. I want to take just a little bit of time to talk to you about a new initiative that I have the honor of helping to lead here called MVP, as you heard from Dr. Lindemann, and that stands for Mentors in Violence Prevention. This program is out of the Patricia A. Thompson Center for Violence Prevention at the University of Northern Iowa. And in essence, what this program does is it develops student leaders to help create a culture of positivity, help create a culture of care, connection, empathy, in response to bullying, harassment, and gender violence of any type. And so I'm really excited to help bring this program here. I had the honor of being a part of the group that initiated this when I was in the Cedar Rapids School District, and just based off of some of our focus group data, our audit, our conditions for learning, we see that this is an area for growth and improvement. I like to think that we're a good school district, but we're far from perfect. And in the initial recruitment stage, where we're going to be launching this program, and we were identifying student leaders to help be the first to lead this program in one of our buildings, there was a lot of students reflecting on their experiences that weren't so great, that they spoke about them being bullied and how they want to flip the script and create a culture of positivity, and create a culture where students feel empowered to hold each other accountable. And so I'm excited
to have one of my partners, dear friends, Dr. Jill Urick, going to bring her up to stage. We're going to launch this program in phases at the 812 buildings, and Centennial is going to be launching this fall here. And so I want to ask Dr. Urick to come up and just share a little bit about your experience and how you and your team have just been, what you all have been doing to get to this point. Come on, Jill, come on. Do your thing.
Good evening, everyone. I'm laughing because I'm passionate about something and I really believe in something. I can talk and talk and talk. So I'm going to try to honor your time and just hit some high points on MVP, which is Mentors in Violence Prevention. And I speak to you with my heart because as a principal, you walk in the building every day and you want nothing more than for every kid to be valued,
Okay.
and loved, and inspired, and challenged, all those things that we want for our children. So I speak to you as a principal, but I also speak to you as a parent. I happen to be a Centennial parent myself, and so I also walk in that building every day, and I'm constantly going through my day thinking, is this good enough for my kid? If it is, I want it for all kids. And I had the opportunity this summer to attend MVP training with a team of my colleagues from Centennial. And I sat through that training thinking, yes, right? We finally have a resource to equip our students to be able to have conversations. I think about the moment that resonated with me the most when I was at training was when we talked about the power of MVP as it relates to post-secondary readiness. So my traditional thinking of post-secondary readiness was always, we got to get every kid academically ready. And that's where my mind stopped. And then over the past 5 years or so, it was, we got to get kids ready academically, and we have to teach them how to problem solve. And we have to teach them what skills they have, because everyone's got their own skills. And what we want for them is to graduate with a plan for after high school, right? Whether it's military, apprenticeship, college, whatever it is, it's got to be right for that kid. And then I went to MVP training, and I'm going to add to my list. Post-secondary readiness is also about teaching our students the skills they need to navigate situations when they're in life, situations on their own. Because right now, they're under our roof here at school, and they're under your roof at home. So we're still there to help them when they're trying to navigate a challenging situation or something they've seen happen at school. But once they leave our home, they are met with college parties on Friday nights. They are met with going to local establishments, no matter where they are. And they're going to see things happen, or they're going to be experiencing things themselves, and we're not going to be there to protect them. And so MVP is about empowering and equipping them with those skills. So even if they're an innocent bystander, options of how to help to make the world a better place. So when we went to training in June, we left the training, I was thinking, okay team, let's put our calendars together for August when you return to work on the 17th, and let's talk how we want to roll this out at Centennial. And my team looked at me like I was crazy. And they said, oh, we can't wait till August. This is important stuff. We need to do this now. And so we met in June and put together a plan to how to roll that out this year at Centennial. We have already utilized staff members to help select our first round of student mentors who have been through training. And then this fall, again, it's an intentional phasing in of this program, that whole concept of you have to work slow now to work fast later. We want to take our time and make sure everyone understands it. We plan to be very transparent with families every step of the way as we approach those weeks when we're going to have conversations and start equipping our students. Here are the goals of MVP, which we are utilizing to, we've developed how we're going to measure this information. The goals are to inspire and develop student leadership and action for positive change. So this is grounded in students doing this. Another goal is increase awareness of verbal, emotional, technological, physical, and sexual abuse and all forms of bullying. We got to talk about what is that? And what do you do when you see it or hear it or experience it? Another goal is challenge thinking and help individuals consider how they may respond in situations of harm. So when they see something on social media or they hear somebody talking about it in the hall, what do you do? And then finally, create a safe and brave space for dialogue and discussion. We have advisories on Friday, and so that's going to be our space. And we plan to, again, just continue development of mentors, expand it. Every semester we want to add more and more mentors to the mix. We're excited to partner with Northview as they roll out MVP in their own way, and then how we can, once they've developed their mentors, then how we transition them when they come to Centennial. All right, I could keep talking, but there's a lot of other stuff you guys want to hear about. So I'll leave you with this. I'm excited about this. If you can't tell, I'm not faking it. And if you want to learn more about it, I invite you. I would love if you want to come to Centennial sometime this year and talk about it or see it in action. The door is open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill. Wow. Now I'm going to turn it over to the competent hands to talk about some of our strategic initiatives. Attorney Jessica Dirks. Get up for Jessica, y'all.
I'm not going to attorney you. I wasn't expecting that. Now that you guys have had an opportunity to hear a little bit about one of the ways this year that some of our students will be of service, we wanted to share with you some of the ways that we plan to this year build on this really community-wide effort that we had last year to develop our strategic plan, our equity framework, and our graduate profile. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit of a preview of some things that will be coming with you with much more information, links to websites and QR codes and things available for you to get involved with some additional community initiatives this year. So very, very briefly, because I don't want to give away all of the good information that's headed your way, one of the things this year and across the district is really rethinking our before and after school time. That doesn't mean our before and after school program is going away. In fact, we're hiring for it starting at age 16. Tell everybody that you know. But we're thinking about what is true in the before and after school space for 6th and 7th graders. We're working with our community engagement department and saying, are there additional classes or opportunities we could create to create an enriching space for kids kind of before they're in organized sports and activities and after they're out of that elementary sort of care space. So expect much more on that in the year ahead. One thing that we're doing, we had such good luck with all of our action teams and our strategic plan groups that worked together over the year last year on committees. We're trying to find a way to build on that and create a more expansive and inclusive way of inviting anybody in the community who wants to be a part of our work this year to express interest. So you'll be hearing more about sort of a coordinated effort to say, these are the committees we know of right now that are coming this year. If you're interested, tell us which ones are interesting and why you'd like to serve so that we can get as many voices in that process as possible. We're also looking at a coordinated approach to volunteering, and I'll say more about that in just a minute here in sort of a big goal that we've established, but I realize I've forgotten a box. So we have created, as a district, one centralized hub where over the course of the year, it's going to take us a little bit of time, probably maybe the first month of school, to get up and running. Every kind of volunteer opportunity, that exists in our district will be in one spot. So you can go to the district website, see everything where we need volunteers across the district in individual buildings, supporting the district office, even some of our affiliated groups like our Schools Foundation, our boosters, they will post those needs in one space, and you'll be able to go at any time of day without a million back and forth emails, pick how you want to get involved, create an account, and it will track your involvement, and we can collectively track what we are doing as a community to be of service to our kids and to our district. And then the box that I've forgotten, which is something that came out of our strategic plan, is this idea of a community resource hub. So our district is going to be working very closely with the wide network of nonprofits that we have in our community, with for-profit organizations that want to get involved, and building sort of a one-stop shop to support our schools as kids or new families are coming in that have needs, as needs arise during the year, so we can acknowledge there are resources that exist outside of the school that can support our kids succeed at school and support those needs that they might have at home. Without the school directly doing that, one thing we can do is be a hub of information and connection to families. We've started some planning for that. Middle of the year, end of the year, that should launch. So we'll probably be reaching out to folks for ideas, input, suggestions on how that can be most useful to our community over the course of the year. So I mentioned there was a big goal. Samantha, I'm staring at you. Okay. Last year, on our strategic planning process, we collectively as a community committed close to 300,000 minutes as a community in building that plan. I think the thing that I'm personally most proud of about that plan, yes, the content is good, but it came from our community. We can do more. That was one project, that was a few months. We didn't necessarily have all staff or all students. We weren't talking about people giving time to their PTOs or people giving time to the booster club. This year, let's do 1 million. We can do 1 million minutes together as a community through service to different organizations, through one-time volunteer efforts, through our students who are getting silver cord hours, through our staff members who are serving on committees. Anything that we are doing as a community to contribute to our district and as a community make this district what we want it to be. I have a little gadget we're going to use, a little gizmo, a little widget we're going to use to track this. And by the end of the year, we're going to see if we can do 1 million minutes together to make this district what we want it to be. More on that coming to you in a newsletter, I think next week, right, Samantha? Coming next week, all right? And with that, safety and security, Dr. Hawk and John Davis. Thanks, guys.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to start out tonight and just acknowledge the hard work of our custodial team and our maintenance and grounds teams. They work so hard every day, but this time of year especially, making sure that our facilities are safe and welcome to return in a couple of days. In the operations team, we're really excited about a couple of initiatives that we have for this year. First being the fact that we're partnering with a new company to provide student transportation for student. Hopefully you had the opportunity to meet with Spencer. He had a table out front before we came in here. We've been working with them for about 6 months to prepare. They actually started transporting students at our summer school session in July and have been transporting our athletes as they're going to activities already this summer. But the big day we've been looking forward to is August 23rd when we welcome the students back. What you're going to see is that we have an entirely new fleet of buses this year. We've been going through a lot of training with the drivers. You're going to see them out on the roads. Their routes are now being finalized, and so you'll see them out on the roads practicing. I ask that you start thinking about how you're going to get to work once August 23rd gets here. We're going to have a lot of students that need to learn how to get on the bus safely, how to ride the bus safely, how to get off the bus safely if they're at school or at home at the end of the day. And so please start planning ahead on how to take a little bit of extra time, especially in those first couple of days of school. To the start of the school year, some great new technology tools for parents to use, for the school to use, and for a first student to use, to make sure that we know where all of the buses are, so we make sure that our students are safe while they're on the buses. Another really important initiative that we have in the operations department this year is coming out of the work of the strategic plan over the last year. We know that as our city grows and our district planning for the future as far as our buildings. And so we are going to have a facilities master planning team come together. This is one of those opportunities that Ms. Durst was just talking about that we need community involvement for, that's going to look at the use of our buildings, look at what we need to do as far as construction, what we need to do as far as renovation moving into the future, and also how we plan for the new elementary school that will open up in the fall of 2024. And so it's an opportunity for us to come together as a community and plan for what the future of Ankeny schools is going to look like. So I really hope that you will watch the newsletters, watch the website for those opportunities to come and join us and be a part of that important work. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Davis, who's going to talk about student safety.
So this was a bit of a challenge for me to try and put together what I was going to say today. I think our safety and security is something that's on the front of everyone's mind. Our staff certainly every single day, and I'm sure you as parents also have those same thoughts. There are no end of rules, laws, regulations, state codes that guide our work in the safety and security world. And we are compliant with all of them, but that's not why we do it, right? We want to do it because we want to make sure your kids are safe in our schools and that they feel safe, because if they're not feeling safe the minute they walk in the door, nothing else is going to happen throughout the day, right? They're not going to be paying attention in class. They're not going to be focused on what's going on if they're sitting there worried about what's happening in the schools. So while we do have a lot of regulations and we have inspections, and then we have inspections that inspect to make sure that the inspections were inspected, which is not an exaggeration, that really happens. Again, that's not why we do what we do in the safety and security world. We do it because it's the right thing and it's what we're worried about every single day. So a couple things I just wanted to highlight with you really quick about some of our efforts. The school district for many years has had a fairly robust emergency response plan that outlines how we handle a number of incidents. We work with our partners in the police department, fire department, EMS, county emergency management, and other agencies to capture the best practices and have a good understanding of what we need to do in an emergency. We provide training to our staff and our students on those emergency response protocols. One of the graphics that's up there is something new that we're rolling out just as recently as today, a little crisis poster that goes in every classroom with a couple of bullet point things, what to do if we need to evacuate, what do we need to do if we have to shelter in place, some of those things. So that's the training piece. And then certainly the way we evaluate and the way trainings are effective is through regular routine drills or exercises. So that may be our fire drills that we conduct monthly. It may be lockdown drills. It may be severe weather, tornado drills, maybe bus evacuation drills, and those sorts of things. So those are the kind of the components of the safety and security plan. The other thing that I get a lot of questions on from parents that I just wanted to address briefly and is how we communicate with you when there is an emergency. So a couple things I wanted to tell you about that. One is Social media is our friend and probably also our biggest enemy, right? And so if we have an incident happen at one of our schools, please know that the official and correct information is coming from the school district. So if you saw a tweet of a share of a retweet of a, I don't even know, social media, all the things out there, if you're not seeing it come from the school district, I would look at that with a little bit of suspicion. We will get you the most accurate information as soon as we know it. There's the second piece of what I wanted to say about communications. I know that we will never be fast enough to get you the information that you want to know, right? We will do everything that we can to get that information to you as quickly and as accurately as possible in an emergency. It's just hard to beat that, the tweet or the text message that goes out. The last thing I wanted to just talk to you about briefly is a program we have called TIPS, or Aware on our website. I think there's a picture of that up there on the graphic. Any concern that you have of things happening in the building, whether it's safety related, maybe you hear of a student that may be thinking about self-harm, harm to others, really anything, that's our anonymous reporting tool. So I would encourage everybody, if you ever have a concern that you think needs to be looked into, you can click on that website that's linked right off the main page of the district's website. It's a little quick form that you fill out, a couple drop-down boxes, and just tell us what's going on out there. It really is the see something, say something. So it gives the administrators, myself, and the rest of the safety team the ability to look into those concerns and provide supports for those students and address those issues before they become a big deal. All right, hopefully that was quick enough. With that, I will turn it back over to Dr. Pruitt. Thank you.
So one of the things that I always keep coming back to from last July up until this point, I had a conversation with a director early on, and one of the things that he shared with me was the name of our district, and he pointed out one particular word, community. And he overemphasized the importance of that word, and it made me really reflect on everything that we experienced last year, the emails that we received, some of the frustration, from our staff, from our parents, from our students. And again, what I said earlier about us being a good district, what's going to help us become great is if we focus on that one word, community. Just know that you have in a superintendent someone committed to supporting my team, our school leaders, in how they lead their schools. But you also have someone in the superintendent that loves education and understands the power that education brings to those people, to our students that have a really good experience in our district. And so I want to encourage everyone here, the people that are going to view this online, that we want your feedback. We want to get better. Please assume positive intent from our school leaders, our teachers, my team at central office. We want our district to be great. We want to be the best district in Iowa, and we want to be the best district in the nation around how we serve students at a really high level, because we come together as a community to do what's right for our students. And so with that, again, welcome to the, can't believe this, welcome to the 22-23 school year. I'll see all of you after the fair. Have a good day.